I'm using Bardeen and I'm writing this information to my nice little Google Doc that I have. I find it super useful. But I'd really love if the Bardeen team would go ahead and make an integration to SmartSuite. So if you're on this call and you're like, oh, this Bardeen thing is cool, go bug their team a little bit and send. I think if we have this integration to SmartSuite, it's going to be.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live event with SmartSuite and Bardeen. So that clip that I was showing you was actually just one small clip from a SmartSuite video where Dan from SmartSuite team actually sent a request to Bardeen team on a YouTube video to have an integration. And here we are live sharing. After some weeks of that request, we're now sharing this integration and this partnership between Bardeen and SmartSuite. I'm really happy to be here, and we will be showcasing you how you can eliminate manual entry on SmartSuite with Bardeen. And we're going to be walking through an intro of SmartSuite, an intro to Bardeen, what are some challenges using SmartSuite that Bardeen can approach. We will do a step-by-step demo on how you can use the Bardeen integration for sales, and using templates from SmartSuite itself. We will explore other use cases and ideas on how you can use this integration, and we will also share some other steps and resources. And of course, there's going to be a space for questions at the end, so you can start sharing your comments wherever you're connecting from. We would love to know where you're connecting from. And yeah, so here with me, I have the pleasure to introduce Avi, who is joining us from SmartSuite, and he's joining us from the US. Isn't that right, Avi? Welcome.
Yep. Thank you. I'm here in New Jersey. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're very excited to have this webinar to kick off and introduce the integration of SmartSuite and Bardeen. And I think in this quick session, you'll have a chance to learn about both Bardeen and SmartSuite and get a chance to see how to get started and go from zero to a full automated solution. So very excited for that. I've been testing and using Bardeen personally for a while now because we kind of released that integration in beta, and it's a game changer. It saves me hours and hours. Any type of data entry I ever want to do, my first go-to is Bardeen, and hopefully it can do it because otherwise I don't know what I do with myself. So just a quick, I'm Avi. I'm here from, I'm the VP of Partnerships at SmartSuite, so I lead all things partnerships for SmartSuite. SmartSuite is a work management platform, which we'll dive into deeper in just a moment. But back to you, Ivan.
All right. Thank you, Avi. Well, you guys probably know me if you're part of the Bardeen community. I'm the head of community at Bardeen. That is an AI automation startup that allows you to automate those manual workflows that you might run into your work as easy as just running one-click automations, prompting them into reality, and all in a Chrome extension. I have some years in the no-code space, and today I will be showcasing you how this Bardeen integration works and just showing you hands-on some examples on how you can apply no-code automation inside a process like it would be the prospecting or sales process inside a solution on SmartSuite. I am connecting from Switzerland, and I am from Bogota, Colombia. And we also want to learn about you. So we have shared on the comments this automation that you can run in just 1 minute, probably less, that will allow you to run this automation over your LinkedIn profile using Bardeen and make a summary of your profile for this event, which you can share in the comments. So we'd love to know your story as well. And I'm going to share the link in the comments as well, so you can try it out. All right. So with that, we can get started. I would love to learn, Avi, what is the story about SmartSuite? Can you give us a bit of an overview? And because lately I've been feeling that it's everywhere. And it's getting more popular, more YouTubers, more influencers are talking about this. What's the buzz about? Tell us.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm excited to introduce, I think I see a lot of familiar faces here. So many of you know SmartSuite, but for those who aren't familiar with SmartSuite, SmartSuite is a work management platform with the goal of being able to combine elements of a database, project management, and rich document capabilities all into one platform, where traditionally you have to rely on separate systems to do each one of those. SmartSuite builds in the communication aspect, the collaboration aspect, documentation, rich documents, so you can store your SOPs and all that within SmartSuite. We also integrated AI and ChatGPT, so you can utilize that to kind of write alongside with you. We have the database aspect, things you might be familiar with from a platform like Airtable, connected, linking records across the entire platform, and many other advancements on that front, as well as the project management aspects that you're familiar with from the typical project management tools. So recurring records, repeating dates, or recurring tasks, depending on what platform you're coming from. The My Work section that rolls up all the users' tasks, and much more. We combine all that into one platform, and with the help of integrations like Bardeen, we extend that and allow that to interact with your full tech stack. And so that's a quick overview of SmartSuite, and would love to take any questions. As you guys come up with questions, pop them in the chat, and we'll get to a live Q&A towards the end of the session.
Awesome. Thank you, Avi. I have seen how SmartSuite has improved their automation capabilities and just their integrations quite a lot in the last months. I've seen that you're integrated to most of the common automation tools, and I'm so glad that Bardeen is now joining this Partners Club as well. If you're joining from the SmartSuite community, or maybe you're new to Bardeen, let me show you a bit of context on what it is Bardeen and what you can do with it. All right, so just a quick overview on Bardeen. Bardeen, you can look at it as your assistant to automate your manual work. It's a no-code automation tool that you can automate your tasks from a Chrome extension that allows you to create automations with prompts in seconds, and even build scraper models with more than 50 pre-built models already in our catalog. You can leverage AI actions anywhere on the web to summarize content, to generate emails, and many other possibilities. We have a very rich integration to OpenAI, and it's also connected to the most popular productivity apps like Notion, Airtable, Google Sheets, now SmartSuite, and it allows you to not only run automations like when this, then that, but you can also run automations with a human on the loop. So there's many cases in our work where we don't want a robot or just an automation to do all the work for us, but we also want to put some input into that process as well, like specifying if a comment from a person, or if a client is a prospect, or if it's just a lead, or if it's an existing client, for instance. So Bardeen does recurrent onboarding sessions that are open and free to the community, and we have a very rich community that you can find at community.bardeen.ai. Here it is, and I hope you can join us because we do onboarding sessions every month, and you can sign up to the next one in the community as well. So I want to show some of the challenges that you might run into using SmartSuite. Even though SmartSuite is a very powerful tool for database and it has its own automation tools, you might still run into either one of these when you're working with a tool that involves a lot of database management. You have to do a lot of data entry if you're managing either a CRM, a recruitment base, or whatever solution you're using. It is likely that it needs a lot of your manual input. You need to copy paste data constantly from LinkedIn, from Crunchbase, either whatever platform you're using. There's a lot of painful data entry that just takes away the time from our day. And as we do that, we also have a lot of context switching as we do this data entry, because it's very easy to lose the flow if you're juggling among multiple tabs like SmartSuite, email, LinkedIn, and more. So I bet you have done something like this before. For instance, you have to save a LinkedIn profile information for your project, or maybe you're building a lead list of clients that you want to save into your database. Now you have to get the list and go over this entire list of information and copy paste each one of those fields like the name, the bio, the headline, the URL, and just put everything manually into SmartSuite. So that can be a pain, and after 2 hours, you might not get enough done just from doing manual work. So I want to show you a bit of what this Bardeen and SmartSuite integration is capable of doing, and how it will allow you to save some time out of those manual workflows. So what is possible, just in technical terms, is what you can see here. Is the Bardeen integration allows you to create SmartSuite records, comments, applications, or solutions, or get that information into Bardeen. Now, this can be combined with the entire Bardeen ecosystem. That is a powerful scraper builder that is very intuitive, and you can also leverage our existing scraper models. It's also combined with powerful AI features like lead enrichment, qualification, and scoring, and enrichment tools like Apollo, Clearbit, or Snav. And you can also connect Clearbit to other apps like Google Calendar, Google Sheets, and many other apps as well. You also have the ability to interact with the web and get information from your tabs, open tabs, close tabs, open your meetings automatically. And I think the most magical thing is this feature that is called Magic Box, is the main search bar in Bardeen, where you can just prompt the automation that you have in mind. So if you want to, for instance, save a LinkedIn profile into SmartSuite, you can just type that, and it should be able to get you a decent draft where you can start building upon. But for this specific use case that we're going to be building, and I think the main use case for SmartSuite, the main thing is automating data entry anywhere on the web, just from the Chrome extension, and really fast. So let's go hands-on. I'm going to show you just a demo of how you can automate this CRM process with scraped data from LinkedIn. So we're going to put on our sales hat. Here we go. I have the SmartSuite swag here, and actually Avi gave me this during the No Code Summit a couple of days ago when we met in Paris. So thank you for that.
Love it.
Okay, so now that we have our automation hat on, we're gonna start with an existing SmartSuite template. So as you know, SmartSuite has a lot of solutions, SmartSuite solutions, and you can find a solution for a CRM. Let's explore these solutions that you can find within your app, and you can find here a solution for a sales CRM, right? That's the one I'm using today, and it's like a template that I got from SmartSuite itself. And what we want to do is we're going to add some automation superpowers into this template, which we have here. We have the sales CRM template that I just got the template and added some extra fields to reflect the type of information I would like to save on both contacts, accounts, and opportunities if I were to prospect, for instance, for Bardeen. So in this solution, you will find the contacts, and we will start there. And the contacts are the people that are prospects for your company or your contacts in a business matter. And just manually filling up this spreadsheet would take a lot of time. You would need to fill in the name. Let's go into Abby, for instance, and I would need to go into the LinkedIn. I will go here, maybe create a record, and then I go to the name, then the title. What is the title of Abby? Okay, VP of Partnerships, and I have to do all this process manually. So what I'm going to show you is how you can save that valuable time and just run an automation that will get the data extracted from SmartSuite, and it'll save it here with the fields that we can extract from LinkedIn that are the name, the headline, the about, the title, the company name, and here's some examples of what we were able to extract just by testing it today. So you can get the about, the location, the picture, the mutual connection link, the email if it's present on the profile. So let's go into this example, and because it's complete for beginners, we're just going to do it just from a kind of recently fresh account. you will need to go into Bardeen.ai. Of course, that's the first step. And you're going to download Bardeen extension. You're going to click on download. This will take you to the download page on the Chrome store. And you will need to follow some basic steps to basically get it into your Chrome store. So that is kind of the first step. And once you have a Bardeen account, you will find this extension that you will find yourself here on the Discovery tab, where you can see existing automations, and you can also start trying them as well. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just gonna focus on creating the automation that we want to hand. So I already have some automation templates ready, but I want to show you just in this specific case how you can build it from scratch. And the process that we want to do is we want to run this automation. Let me show you before we build it, that we'll be able to copy the LinkedIn profile of this current page to a SmartSuite record. So I'm going to go into Avi, and I'm going to click it. And because I haven't integrated SmartSuite yet, I need to connect. So I'm going to show you just a quick tutorial of how you can connect into your integration. So you're going to get from this URL, you can see that there's this workspace ID. So you need to copy this for the workspace. All right, I have some feedback that that we should go a bit slower. So let's go slower. Let's take it easy. Let's integrate to SmartSuite. So what you have to do here, once you have your Bardeen extension, you can go into Bardeen, and you can go into your settings. You can go into connected apps, and you can search for SmartSuite, right? So that can be the way we can connect to SmartSuite, right? And the way we're going to do this is we're going to get two things that are the token for the API key, and we're going to get the workspace ID. So we're going to get from this URL, from the solution URL, we're going to get the workspace ID. And that is important for us to copy it here. Now, the API key, I cannot reveal it here publicly, but the way you can get it is you can go into your SmartSuite account and you go to API key, and you will be able to create an API token. So let me just input this API key real quick, and I'll come back to you. Let us know the questions so far on how do you feel on the progress, and if you have any questions until now. All right, I managed to integrate properly, and I am able to just run the automation for the first time. So I'm going to show you just a demo of how this automation works before I actually build it from scratch. So we're going to run this automation and by inputting just what department is Avi on. So I'm going to put partnerships. And I'm going to run this playbook. And this will start scraping the information from Avi. And that's what it's doing right now. It's getting the data from the active tab, and then it's going into SmartSuite, and it's creating a new record. So that can save me 5 minutes of time just manually copy pasting the information. So let's see how this goes. I bet having the event is not helping for the loading times, but we can see here some examples on different rows that were scraped with Bardeen just in one click. All right, now I want to show you how you can do this just from scratch. If you were beginning in Bardeen, how you can build an automation with SmartSuite. So you're going to go into the page that you want to scrape. So in this case, I want to scrape LinkedIn, right? So I'm going to create an automation from scratch. And I'm going to create. And from create, I find kind of the options in Bardeen to connect. So we're already connected to SmartSuite, so we will be able to see the different options we have here. But our first action will not be related to SmartSuite. It'll be to the scraper. So we're going to go into this icon that is scraper actions. You can also find it here at scrape. And we have two options. We can either scrape data on active tab or scrape data in the background. In this case, we want to scrape data on active tab because we're going to do it from here, from the profile itself. Just whenever I want, I'm going to run this automation. So I'm going to click on scrape data on active tab. And what I have to specify here is what is the scraper template that I want to use to extract the information from this page. So the scraper template is basically this model that you can create that allows you to select what are those fields that you want to get from this page. So just a quick demo, you can simply intuitively select those fields: name, headline, even images, even URLs, like the page link, and just fill very quickly the information that you want from this page. But we already have a list of more than 30, 40 scraper templates that are already in our catalog. So you don't have to do that from scratch every time. You can search. So in this case, I'm going to search for LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to select the LinkedIn profile by Bardeen scraper template. And now I'm going to test it just to make sure. Copy LinkedIn profile. And I want to just showcase you how until now we were able to scrape information on LinkedIn. So this right now should be copying this information and scraping it into just a demo of the scraped information. So let's see the result. Let me check if the last one got results. It did got results. Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick reset here on Bardeen. I think just having the automations running. Okay, here we go. Not sure what was the problem there, but the automation from Avi just ran effectively. And we can see the result here on both automations that we just run. So the copy LinkedIn profile, we got this information from the current page. That is the name, the connection URL, the profile image, the location, the about. We got so many fields that we can access with Bardeen Scraper, even the skills from Avi, and just everything we need from there. And the profile from Avi on the demo that I made just a couple minutes before, it's already added here with the information we wanted. So now let's figure out that second step. We already managed to script the information. Now let's add it to SmartSuite. So we're going to go into the automation, and you can open it on the builder. And once you have this, you're going to add a new action. And you're going to SmartSuite. And if you're already integrated, you will be able to see this. Remember, if you're just arriving to the call, remember you have to integrate to SmartSuite. And to do that, you will need two things. That is the SmartSuite workspace ID, that is this one. And you will need the token in your account for your API key. Okay, let's continue. So coming here, we will create a SmartSuite record. So this will allow us to basically select in which solution and application we want to create that record of scraped information. So we're going to come here and we're going to search for the sales CRM. And the application, we have multiple applications here that are like the different sheets or like the different tables that we have on our database. And it's this one that we want to focus on, the contacts, because that's the one that contains the contact information. And we can see that the Bardeen integration retrieved all the fields here. So from here, we can start mapping the information. And mapping is like mapping the data from the scraper to the fields at SmartSuite. So these are the fields that you can find in SmartSuite. And you can check by going here, and you will find the name, headline, about, title. If you have the raw solution from the CRM, you might see some different fields. I just added some for the purpose of this example. But the way you can start mapping this information is that you can start here getting the data from action 1. So you can relate the different steps in your automation. So I'm going to get data from action 1 and get the name. And that is how you can relate the data from the scraper to your Bardeen records, right? So I'm going to get the name, and I can do the same here for the title. And the title, I can map it to current position. And all of these are the fields that I get from the scraper. So I can just start mapping it. And you can customize your solution also based on the information that you can get with Bardeen. All right. For instance, the email, some of the profiles have their email publicly posted in LinkedIn. So that is very valuable information for prospecting or sales. If the LinkedIn profile contains the email, it might be saved as well. There's also the location that we can find it here. And let's just do a last one that is the LinkedIn profile. Just a few so we don't run a lot of time. All right, now we're going to rename this, and I can just come here, copy LinkedIn profile, and save to SmartSuite. And I'm going to hit on done. And now it's saved, and it's ready for me to run it. So now I'm going to run this automation. Let's focus on this one. And this should start scraping the data from LinkedIn, checking Avi's profile, and then creating that record. So this time it was pretty fast. And there we go. It created the record. So that's basically the process that you need to follow to create an automation from scratch. Now, let's continue with more scenarios, right? So it's not only getting a LinkedIn profile. We want to make it sometimes that we want to get other profiles as well, because we might be going through LinkedIn and we might find new prospects on that flow of just navigating on our feed. So what happens if Tara, for instance, what if Tara, the founder of SmartSuite, is a prospect for me at Bardeen? So I can manage to also save that profile from Tara into my SmartSuite solutions with this Autobook that I have created to copy LinkedIn profile data from this from a profile with a right click. It's this one. Copy LinkedIn. This one. Copy LinkedIn profile data from current page to a SmartSuite record in a right click, and let's see it in action. And then I'll show you how it works, because it's the same base of the first automation I showed you. All right, so once I have that Autobook activated, and the Autobook, the difference between an Autobook and a playbook is that the Autobook runs with a trigger. So basically, when I right-click on Tara and I click on this button, Save Person in SmartSuite, Bardeen will magically start scraping her profile in the background and retrieving that information from Tara and saving it into SmartSuite. So this is something that is happening in the background. You can check if it's running if you hover over your browser and you see the different pages that are popping up. And Bardeen Scraper right now runs on your browser, and that is how it gets the information, just opening the page in the background. You'll probably have the question that if Bardeen Scraper can also run in the cloud. Yes, that is a feature that is actually coming, and we're really excited to have more updates on that soon. But for now, that's how it is, and it helps also to reduce the risk of being noticed by LinkedIn as an automation in any way. So there is very low risk when it comes to scraping LinkedIn in that sense, especially if you do it just moderately, like in the ways that we're showing today. So now let's see how we actually build this, because we had this first automation that we understood how it's built. And now how did we get from that to this one? We're going to analyze it, and let's see it in the builder, because it's basically just adding a trigger. So we're going to open this, and we're going to see the difference. So the only thing that changed in this automation is that we added a right-click trigger, and we changed the scraper action to scrape data in the background. That means that instead of scraping the information here on the current page, it'll open in the background. And the way that works is that I have this trigger. So I can customize it and just add this trigger when I right click on links, on basically on links, anywhere on links of LinkedIn. So I can run this anywhere on a LinkedIn link, basically. I will be able to run the scraper in the background, and this is linked to that action one link that Bardeen captures, and it runs it through LinkedIn profile scraper. I add this custom delay that it gives Bardeen like 2 seconds while it opens the profile, scrapes the information, and saves it into SmartSuite. And those are like basic settings. And then it saves the information into SmartSuite with the same process that you can see here. It's just mapping the information. All right. I think we have some questions.
Yeah, Ivan, why don't I read out some questions to you? First of all, excellent demonstration. I think hopefully people get the idea that you can use. So Bardeen is a Chrome extension and sits on top of the web pages you're browsing, and you can set up automations to scrape. I think you obviously for the individual profile. Personally, I actually use this to scrape Zillow listings, and there's just listings. And you can build out that it just scrapes all the listings. So not individual profiles, but it can actually scrape listings, which I think becomes even more powerful, right? When you're trying to like get a whole database that's like on a different website.
Exactly.
Put it into
So exactly. These are the examples that we're seeing on like specific profiles that we want to save. But that is just the top of the iceberg, because you can start also scraping lists and then nesting lists. And there's an entire world of scraping with Bardeen. Yeah,
absolutely. So let me pop up a question over here from Bill French. Bill has a question asking, when a playbook sends some data to SmartSuite, can SmartSuite echo the recipient of the data and inform the playbook to perform another step dynamically based on the received data? So meaning, does all automation end with SmartSuite as the last action, or can you add another step after SmartSuite to maybe go back and scrape another profile, or to maybe send a notification in Slack, or do some other stuff?
Yes, that's a good question, actually. So SmartSuite doesn't need to be the last action that is included on the workflow. You can do follow-up actions inside your automation. I can show you just in a minute, because let me show you here. Let's go into our Bardeen. And for instance, on this case that we just saw, on right-click saving like a profile, we can also start adding other actions on top of this to send the information to Slack or send an email after this happens. Let me just open this in the builder. All right, and here we can see that we can add new actions here, even conditionals if you want. And some ideas of what you can do after this step are, for instance, sending the information of this profile on a Slack message alert to your team that, hey, we have a new prospect that we have sourced. Or maybe it can send an email to the sales team that, hey, here's a prospect that you should check. So those are some ideas that you can explore inside Bardeen, and you can see all the integrations as well. So yeah, that's a good question from Bill. Thank you. Thank you, Abby. I think that's what he meant. Let us know if that's another question instead.
We'll yes, have a follow-up question from Bill. Bill is asking, is it possible to capture unstructured content and push it into SmartDoc fields? So let's say I want to capture like the whole.
Not yet, unfortunately.
Okay, so SmartDoc is not available as a field type mapped from Bardeen, right? So SmartSuite obviously has a SmartDoc field type. but Bardeen has only been able to map certain field types. I have personally, I can just share that I've been able to map into text fields, and then text fields can be converted into smart docs. We're getting some questions around.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Just
we're
to
getting some
follow up on that one.
Yep.
So to follow up on that question, this is a brand new integration. Of course, it has like its development process. Right now, what it supports is to save the information into text and links, but I am sure that we will be having some new updates that will allow you to also save information into files, into smart docs, and that's just the kind of the process as the integration grows. But you can stay tuned, and we have a community where you can submit your requests as well.
Okay, awesome. And I'll just share also on the CRM aspect. So for personally at SmartSuite, like we use SmartSuite as our CRM, and we were able to use our API and integrate with Clearbit and have a button within SmartSuite where once we get that initial profile into SmartSuite, we can push the button and Clearbit adds all the enrichment data into SmartSuite and just like similar process to what Bardeen does, which is use the API and add data to SmartSuite. You can go on top of that and add more information. So I see some questions coming in about data enrichment that is definitely possible using the API. I see that. Let me go back earlier. We had a question from Kathleen. I'm wondering about using this for setting a shift schedule as sub-items within SmartSuite record. I get sent spreadsheets, schedules, and clinical partners, and I have to link the students and integrate to my placement system. So I guess the question is how you plan on structuring that. So I don't think sub-items are linked to SmartSuite, but you can definitely scrape data from a spreadsheet, move it into SmartSuite, and then perform automatic actions either using Bardeen or SmartSuite. So I presume it's possible depending on the field types that you're trying to use.
Yeah, and what you can do for as an alternative is you can scrape information into multiple different applications, right? So, for instance, if you're scraping a LinkedIn profile and you want to scrape the profile information, but also the company information all in the same flow, you can save the company information into the contacts database and save the company information into the accounts database or the company database that you have, and then you can simply relate them. And I think SmartSuite automation will also allow to do that if you have a field in common that you can auto relate those two fields.
Okay, excellent. A question from Jen about the possibility of pulling specific data from a PDF.
Oh, that's a great question. So there is no like input feature like to get an input into Bardeen, a PDF, but you can get it via Google Sheets. So you can get either from Google Sheets, you can get a file that is a PDF and then process it. We have OCR. We have AI features that allow you to process a PDF and extract the text from it, even answer questions based on that PDF, and then get it into SmartSuite. So that could be possible. And we also have really cool features to get like a PDF screenshot from a website. So you can turn any website into a PDF, and you can save it into Google Drive or into SmartSuite. So those are other ways as well.
Got it. And how would you set up an automation on top of a PDF? Would that be using the same extension and just kind of using similar to the way you got information from LinkedIn, highlighting information on the PDF, or is that a different process?
It's a bit of a different process. The way I would do it is I would set that PDF into a Google Drive folder, for instance, where I can capture that file via Bardeen, and then I can just extract the information from that PDF. I can get the text. I can answer questions with AI about it. So that would be the process. But yeah, I would like to be honest, like importing PDFs into Bardeen is probably not our strength.
Got it.
You can generate PDFs with Bardeen from page information, like from page data and such.
What about if the PDF is served publicly over HTTP, meaning that it opens up on your browser? Could you employ the extension on top of that, or no?
If the PDF is over HTTP,
Meaning if you open the PDF on your browser, like
Yeah.
not as a local file.
okay, if the PDF is on the browser, yes, I think it's possible to get information from that. Yeah. So, and even if the scraper is not able to do it, we have other workarounds with Bardeen that do not require scraping. So you can either try with the scraper, but if that doesn't work, we also have get current page HTML. So hear me out. You're able to, like, even if scraping doesn't work, you can get the HTML from the page, then get the text from that HTML, and then kind of use that text to respond to your questions, to generate a table with AI, or to just input that information or a summarized version of that PDF into a SmartSuite, for instance.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I think it's definitely possible. We have a question coming in from Adam over here. He says he loves the right-click functionality, but is it possible to use that to create a save LinkedIn post to a SmartSuite solution? So I guess we showed it on the profiles, but can you save LinkedIn posts using Bardeen and add them to like a SmartSuite solution?
LinkedIn posts, yes, for sure. That is also a really cool use case. I can show you very quickly here. We, as I was telling you, we have multiple scraper templates available, so you can search here LinkedIn post, and we have multiple scrapers related to posts. You can scrape a LinkedIn post if you're on the post page, and you can save it into a SmartSuite solution, or you can scrape a search of posts as well. Yes. All
Awesome.
right. I would love to just show a last demo of the LinkedIn search, so you also have an idea of how Bardeen can run within a search within a list of items. All right. So let me show you real quick this last one, and it is. Let's go into this case, right? So we have Avi that we already saved his information, but Avi has a network, right? He has common contacts that might be also possible prospects for me. And I want to save the information from this list. So I'm going to use Bardeen automation to go through this list and then open each one of these profiles and scrape the information from all of those profiles and save them into SmartSuite. And that is a process that is called deep scraper. Let me just show you here how it works. So we have this automation that copies data from the profile search and then goes into each profile and creates records. So super simple. It is able to scrape the data using a list scraper. So instead of a page, like a page scraper that is the one we run over the LinkedIn profile, this scrapes the list of the people search, and then it takes those URLs that it extracts from here, and then it goes into each one of those pages in the background and extract the information from each one of those pages using the LinkedIn profile scraper, and then it saves the information into SmartSuite. So the way you run this is you simply specify here, I'm going to run this, and you specify how many items do you want to extract. So just for a demo, let's get just 2, and we will see the example. So you can run this here, and this will start getting the search. So here it got one profile. It starts opening it up in the background. So we have, just on purpose opening it up. You won't even notice if you run this automation, but it's opening this profile, getting the information, getting even the email in this case, and then going into the next one and creating the records at the end. So that's kind of the process that you can also follow for lists. And yeah, the opportunities are endless. You can brainstorm a lot of ways you can use Bardeen and SmartSuite together. We have a great question from Bill. If Bardeen can scrape SmartSuite data, I have never tried that. I think it would be worth an experiment. If you guys want to, feel free. Let us know in our community if you manage to do it. That would be really interesting to know. But consider it might not be necessary. Why? Because we have the integration, right? You don't need to scrape data if you can simply get it using Bardeen's integration. So let me just show you, for instance, this one. This automation will allow me to get the data from the SmartSuite records. So I'm going to get the SmartSuite records from my contacts, right? I want to get all of these contacts, and I want to get all their emails, only the emails, because I want to run them through an enrichment process. So I'm going to find the emails in those records. Then I'm going to enrich them with Clearbit and Apollo. So if you're in the sales world, you're probably familiar with these tools, and this will save them into Google Sheets. So that is another option. Is you don't necessarily need to scrape SmartSuite. You can simply extract the information using our commands. The get records from SmartSuite should work. And to run an automation like this one, you just run it and you specify the spreadsheet. You can either create one, or you can, in this case, I use Google Sheets, but you can also save it into a new SmartSuite, solution if you want. In this case, I'm just going to create a new one. Never mind, I actually have one here that is the enriched SmartSuite. And I'm just going to select this one. Enriched. Never mind. Well, my browser is super slow, but let me just go into the output here, and it's this is how it would look like. I just ran it before the event, and this was the result. So it got all the emails, and for the emails that it was able to enrich, that either Clearbit or Apollo found information, it was able to get the information from those and just landed here, getting like the company, getting emails and social media information as well. All right. So just those were some of the examples of how you can kind of use Bardeen in a practical scenario, just automating an existing solution. And there are so many other ways you can apply this. So it's not only for sales. You can also brainstorm how you can do this if you're on BizOps. So for instance, if you have a product catalog and you want to scrape catalog data from your website, or you want to get the products from your competitor's website and just save it into this SmartSuite solution. If you want to get your meetings, for instance, your latest Zoom recordings or your upcoming meetings in this month, you can save them into this system. The same for recruitment. There's a lot of use cases for saving, for instance, your employees' LinkedIn's into this template, or getting notified when there's changes on LinkedIn profiles. Anyway, there's a lot of possibilities. I'd love to hear your ideas, and let's just go into some other questions as well. All right, Abby, Q&A session. What do we got?
Okay, so we have, here's a question from Daniel. Can you trigger Bardeen from SmartSuite, like with a button? Meaning, obviously you can get data from SmartSuite. I think you demonstrated that, but can you also use it through the Chrome extension?
Like inside SmartSuite, like in a SmartSuite button itself, no, it's not possible. But Bardeen, you can just simply open it on your Chrome extension. You can launch it very fast with Alt B or Control B, and that'll open Bardeen, and you can just run your automation from there. So you cannot actually run it inside the SmartSuite row, if that's what you're asking, but you can run it on a right click, or you can just open Bardeen really quickly and run your automation. But that's a good question. It might be an interesting idea for us to explore.
Yeah, awesome. I'm curious as well, first of all, let me say, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them as a comment or in the chat, and we'll try to get to all questions. I'm curious, can you show us the possibility? So let's say I'm scraping a list, and like you were showing on the LinkedIn, right? So there's a list, and behind that list, each one has an individual profile. So I have a list of profiles based on a search I'm doing filters, and then have a individual LinkedIn profile. How would I make sure that Bardeen, can you maybe show us that piece of making sure Bardeen clicks through to every individual profile and then comes back to the main list to go to the next profile?
Sure. Let's check it out on Bardeen's builder itself. So let's see this example that you're referring to is the process that it's called deep scraping inside Bardeen, and it's being able to, from a list of URLs, build a deep scraper, right? From the first list of scrape links to then scrape those with another scraper, right? So you scrape the list here with scrape data on active tab, getting the data from the search, right? And then you link it here on scrape data in the background. You can just link it, as you can see here. Let me just do it manually. You can get the data from action 1, and here's the field. So you can access the scrape inside Bardeen. You can link it to the profile URL, and then you select the scraper template that I want. That is the people, that is the profile. And you can search among your existing scrapers and the Bardeen scrapers. I will choose this one, and you can customize it as you want, but that's about it on what you need to do. And then when you're going to save the information to SmartSuite, you will focus on this action, on the scrape data in the background, because it has much more enriched information than just this, because you don't actually want to just get this. You want to get into their profile, get the information, and get the relevant data you need from the profile.
Got it. And so I'm curious. So I get the method that you're using over here, right? You're getting that list of profiles, passing the URLs back for Bardeen to basically go click on every individual profile and get the full page data. I am curious. So when I was using Bardeen, maybe you can show this to everyone. There's a way to click. There's a way that as you're building out the scraper, one of the actions instead of get data is actually click, and then so. And I believe click actually takes you to the next page. I'm curious, what's the downsides of using that method?
The downsides of using the right click, you mean?
Yeah, if you can open up the builder and start scraping data on active tab on like a LinkedIn list.
Okay. Let's go here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we build a brand new scraper on this,
okay, let's do it. Sure. So you go here, you create a scraper template. You always have the option to create a scraper template. So you can either select a ready model. So if you're scraping on a page that we probably have scraped before, you can simply pick that. Do you want to do it from scratch, or you?
Yeah, let's build from scratch.
Okay, so let's build from scratch. Oops, I clicked on extend the model. Let me do that again. So you can even extend an existing Bardeen model.
So we can extend the model. That's fine. We can extend it if you want.
Oh, let's extend it. That's cool. So
this is
we have
cool.
the information
we specify
here.
All the data fields that we want to pull from the list, right? And so we're pulling profile URL, location, name. If you hover over, so see if you hover over like one of the profiles and you click.
Yes.
So if you click over there, yeah. So what does that do? What does that action do? Maybe you can explain that.
Oh, you mean the click action? So the click action is meant for some corner cases, like whenever you need to open a pop-up and get information from that pop-up. But it's specifically used mostly on list list, not on list, sorry, on specific profiles. Like you have a LinkedIn profile and you want to open that more information pop-up, and then get information from that pop-up. On lists, you can also do it for certain cases, but in this case, if you click here, it'll just redirect you somewhere else. And I'm not sure if that will actually work. I think it might break the scraper, to be honest. But there are some cases. Just today, I was scraping, for instance, a community event that was happening where I basically had to get information from a list of profiles and then open a pop-up and get their LinkedIn profiles from each one of those pop-ups. So that's the main use for the click.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So you're saying if you want to like get individual information from individual pages off of a list, you pass it back and create a new action. And click is more for like clicking within the page to just reveal more information.
It's mostly for clicking inside a single page, and you can do really cool things with that as well. For instance, I could set up a Bardeen automation that clicks on more,
right,
and then tries to connect with this person, or I can try to set up a Bardeen automation that clicks on message.
Right. Or like about, like if the about has a lot of text in there and you need to click to reveal the rest of it, right?
For instance, here, show all posts, you mean, or like the about?
Yeah, no, the about section right under.
Oh,
yeah.
There's.
Well, if I'm saying on a profile that has a lot of text, you might have to click that more button to get all that text.
Yes, exactly. So, for instance, the main use case for the click in this scenario would be this: clicking on the contact info and extracting this information. You might be wondering, like, oh, what if I want to click here, or maybe click here? I wouldn't recommend that, because it's easier to just get the link of this page that show me 10 experiences, and then scrape this list with its own scraper, so you can build a deep scraper. So that's we're getting into a bit Bardeen advanced. We have some videos on this, but I think that requires a bit more of playing around as well.
That's awesome. Okay, we're getting more advanced. Well, where can people get more advanced? Where's a good place for people if they want to get more advanced with Bardeen?
Okay, great question. We have an awesome YouTube channel. It's led by Rinat from our content team, and we have content going every week on how to use Bardeen for Apollo, for sales, recruitment, OpenAI. We have so many really cool videos. I would recommend that, definitely. And we also have our Bardeen community, and I'd love it if you guys can join us inside our community and just share your use cases, share how you plan to use Bardeen and SmartSuite. And from here, you can also ask questions, get support, and check out what is new in the Bardeen world, what are new announcements, and just also create topics and questions, just like we have here on this. Comments, don't let those questions go to waste. Create an account here. You can simply log in the community with your Bardeen account. Super easy, and you can get some help. And my last recommendation would be to check out our existing tutorials that we have on the website, and just check out our website in general. You can find many playbooks and audiobooks that are just pre-built, and you can also learn from those. You don't have to start from scratch. You can just use some of these pre-built automations and learn how they're built. Play with those, try to implement them inside your company. And we have many apps and many categories of kind of workflows that you can automate on marketing, sales, meetings, data, productivity, and more. So I think those would be my top advice if you're just starting with Bardeen.
That's awesome. And for those joining, as we wrap this up, think of Bardeen when you're thinking of trying to import data to SmartSuite. So whether you're migrating from another solution and you want to try SmartSuite or use SmartSuite, you need to move data from other solutions, competing products, you might be able to use Bardeen to move that data and actually map field to field and move all the data efficiently into SmartSuite. Think of it as a way to, as shown, use it as a sales tool to capture leads, to enrich leads. It can be a recruiting tool if you want to grab profiles from LinkedIn or Facebook, or even if you want to grab all your folks who applied on Indeed to specific job applications and you want to move those into SmartSuite to continue the process with them, interviewing process and so on, Bardeen is a great tool for that. So think of Bardeen as like that automation plus scraper that can really help you move and perform actions on your data.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it, Avi. That's very true. And just the last kind of message is that this is just starting. We are in the process of improving this integration, and we are actually building a lot of pre-built automations that you will be able to access. So you don't have to go through all of this process from scratch. So for the automations that I shared on this event, I want to give them to the people that participated on this event for free. I'm just going to share the link to the Gamma here on the comments, and you will be able to customize those automations, play with them, and just learn from these use cases that we showed today. So let me share it in the comments, and you can get the links from the automations from there as well. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you on the next one.
All right. Thank you so much, Avi. It's great to collaborate with SmartSuite, and I'm really happy to see what else can we build together.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.